friends, welcome or welcome back. I'm MC, a knit and crochet designer from Connecticut. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Blame the Knots, on my website blametheknots.com, and of course right here on YouTube where you can get to know me a little bit better. Today's episode is probably going to be pretty quick because I actually only have one actual thing to show you. And also, just as I sat down and hit record, it suddenly got really dark and the trees started shaking. We're about to have a big storm here, so I'm going to try and get this done before the skies open up, because we've had a lot of power flickering with big rains lately, and I'm not trying to make a horror movie. Oh, there we go. It's like I summoned it. The skies literally just opened. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot to talk about this week because I have been dealing with a migraine pretty much all of the past week. The day before I filmed last week, I got a bad migraine. It's not out of the ordinary for me, but my head was really hurting the day before I filmed, and it was really hurting the day that I did film. I had taken some of my medicine right before I filmed just to kind of give me a little boost, get that video done and out. I probably should have taken time off and let myself heal, but whatever. It's in the past. I did it. Maybe I will not do it in the future. But then normally my migraines are like 2 days and I'm good to go. But this one just like really lingered. I had much better, but still a lingering headache for up until like yesterday. So 8 days basically of my head just being really unhappy with me. So I did not a lot while I was letting myself rest. I spent a lot of time getting in bed early and sitting in the dark with no screens or light. So yeah. And then, oh, it's really coming down now. Ooh. And then I primarily, when I was working on a project, I was working on one thing, which I will show you in a moment, because I have been working like a fiend on this one project. Before I get into finished objects and works in progress and all that kind of stuff, I wanted to say right up front towards the beginning of the episode a really big thanks to everyone who was supporting me, sharing, liking, purchasing the pattern for the Central Pearl release that happened last weekend. It was a really great day. My phone overheated as I was trying to check my notifications and respond to them all. It couldn't even handle it. I got a cramp in my hand from holding my phone and trying to type and respond to everyone's shares and posts and everything. It was a very nice day. It is, I believe, it has now just become my most successful pattern. I believe it's now in first place, which is just lovely. It makes me very happy. I'm very proud of that design and the work that I put into it, and I want to say a really big thank you to everyone for the support that you showed me, because you really warmed my heart. And on a much smaller level, I also want to thank you for your support here on YouTube, because for the first month-ish that I was posting videos, YouTube was not letting me put links in any of my videos. So that was kind of frustrating, because I know how much people rely on links in YouTube videos. Like people almost like use YouTube as a form of research now, you know, and so having those links of what people are talking about in their videos is important to people. And I felt weird not being able to provide those. So now I can. I think I have to go back. I think there are 2 videos that I still need to go and add links to, maybe my first 2, but I will do that for you. And now moving forward, everything will have full links to everything that I mention. And so thank you, because YouTube was telling me that I needed to build up some channel history, and because you watched and interacted with me, I can now provide links for you. So thanks. All right, what I am wearing today, I am in a very green mood apparently. I am wearing my Tan and Tipsy top by Knitting Tipsy, and this I knit, I believe last summer I finished it, and I knit this in Haiku Sueño by Scasso. I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll link it below. But this is the color Chartreuse, and this yarn has bamboo in it, and it's, let me look it up really quick. Okay, I just looked it up. It is 80% wool, 20% bamboo, and it honestly feels like more bamboo. It's super, it just has that like plant fiber feeling, but in a really good way. It's so, I was wearing it this past weekend when it was a bajillion degrees and really humid out here, and it's just breathable, super comfy, super soft. It has great drape and it's really flowy. You can see this lace panel that I have. I really love it. I only got one skein of this, or maybe two skeins of this yarn when I first bought it. It was like in a clearance bin somewhere, and I was like, oh, that's fun and bright, let me grab it. I had never heard of it before, and honestly, I want to go grab some more because they have a really great color palette actually, with lots of bold, bright colors, and I really feel like this would be great for lots of summer knits. I think it is, yeah, it's marketed as a DK weight, but I remember when I was purchasing this, I was talking to people at the yarn store and they were saying you can honestly knit this to a fingering weight gauge. You can knit it to a DK weight gauge. You can knit it to a worsted weight gauge. And I believe what I did was knitting it to a worsted weight gauge. Oh, it's coming down so much. I also highly recommend this pattern for the Tan and Tipsy top. This is actually the second one that I made. The first one I made was one of the first garments I ever made for myself, and to this day is still one of my favorite tops that I own. For this one, what I did is I actually ended up working the lace panels for the front and back, and then I joined in the round to knit the body. The original pattern is knit in front and back panels, but I was on vacation when I knit this and I just really needed some like stockinette in the round, so I got these two lace panels done, and then I joined to knit in the round, and then other than that I followed the pattern exactly. One other thing I want to mention is these earrings are from a local crafter in Connecticut. They are called Creativity in Connecticut, or their Instagram and Etsy store is Creativity in CT. And their booth, I saw them at a local fair this past weekend, and their booth was super cute. I got 2 pairs of earrings and an earring holder. Actually, wait, I forgot I had it within reach. I got an earring holder there, and I love it. It's so cute. I was in part of my closet reorganization. I have been looking at new jewelry boxes because mine is very old and really not my style. And so I saw this and I just couldn't help it. These are the other earrings that I got as well. They're like, whoops. They're this very pretty, I don't even know what to call that design, but it's pretty. And the owner of the shop, I don't know their name, but they were very nice. They had beautiful stuff, lots of different options for all different kinds of styles, and the prices were very reasonable and very good. So I will definitely be checking them out. I love that there's someone nearby that I can get some jewelry from, And also just these earrings are so cool. They're so fun. And I just, this orange with this chartreuse, I can't handle it. I love it so much. Bold and bright is my happy place, and I just love it. Especially on a rainy day like this one. It makes me feel great. Moving on, I have no finished objects this week because I have only worked on one project. I actually didn't touch any of the projects that I mentioned last week, even though I'm so close to finishing them. I didn't touch them. So they will be done for next week. I hope. They better be. Because this is a little bit of a saga, but I have had this design idea that I've wanted to do for over a year now. And I started putting it off a little bit because I wanted to submit it for some brands, for other brands, and to be published on either websites or publications, whatever. And I was nervous about doing that, so naturally I put it off, which was silly. I also ended up putting it off for way too long and probably ended up shooting myself in the foot a little bit because I didn't give myself enough time, or the publications enough time, to be able to accept it and fit it into their schedule. But you know what? You live and you learn. That's fine. I feel like I learned a lot from those submissions. I actually didn't get any rejections. I just didn't get any answers. So anyway, after I accepted the fact that my design was probably not accepted to anything, I then needed to buy yarn because I had asked for yarn support, and obviously I was not getting it. And also, I share this story just because I want people to know that it's okay to put yourself out there and submit designs and reach out to people and ask for collaborations. And if they say no, I mean, sometimes it just doesn't fit in the schedule. Sometimes they might have other plans for something that, you know, you don't know about. Sometimes it's just not a good fit, and that's okay. So yeah, this isn't like a sob story of I submitted my design and no one liked it. This is more just to talk about the process, to talk about my learning experience, and to let you know that it's okay if you get rejections too, because it happens and you cannot always get accepted for every single design that you submit. It's just not going to happen. Back to my story. I had to buy yarn. So I ordered yarn. It was supposed to get here weeks ago. I had big plans. My whole 4th of July weekend vlog that I did was supposed to be a weekend of me finishing up this pattern, this design sample. But obviously plans changed because my yarn got lost in the mail. So then that put me a few weeks behind, and my yarn finally got here, and I have been knitting, trying to get this design knit up, pattern written, so I can get it to my tech editors, get it into testing. Anyway, the big reveal. I am making, it's not going to be pretty right now, but let me throw it on. This is going to be the Allison cardigan. And actually, don't look at this sleeve too much because I'm going to change it slightly. I decided that I don't like the shaping that I did on this sleeve, so I'm doing it differently on this second sleeve. And then, I'm losing stitches. Once I do this sleeve, I'll go back and rip this sleeve back. Let me fix these stitches really quickly. This cardigan is going to be the Allison cardigan, and I will put a picture of my sketch so that you can better see what it's going to look like. And let me know before I tell you what it is if you recognize what that sketch reminds you of. This cardigan is inspired by the character of Allison from the movie Hocus Pocus. And this year is the 30th anniversary of the release of that movie, so it was really important to me to release this pattern this year. Yes, it doesn't actually matter, but for some reason in my head, I needed to have it come out for the 30th anniversary. So like I said, I am working up my second sleeve with my new shaping, and then I'm going to have to rip back most of my first sleeve and redo it, and then I have to pick up and knit the button band and do some patch pockets, and then I will be good to go. There's also going to be embroidery, just like Allison's, and that will come with a video tutorial to show you how to do it. This is made, my sample is being made with Lion brand Vanna's Choice in the color Oatmeal, and I'll be doing the embroidery in the color Chocolate, which is just exactly like it sounds. It's a chocolate brown. I chose the Vanna's Choice because, one, I really wanted this cardigan to end up looking as close to Allison's as I possibly could. And I wanted it to be something that was very like early 90s, grabbing your mom's cardigan as you're running out the door to go show the new kid around and wreak some havoc in Salem, you know? So this kind of older feeling yarn. I don't mean that in a bad way. I love Vanna's Choice. It's a great acrylic option. I really love it. But something about it just made me feel like it was right for the vibe that I was going for. But I also considered using Lion Brand's, what's it called, Fisherman's Wool. I feel like that would be really classic and super toasty warm. I also considered using, there's a Knit Picks yarn that has like, maybe it's called Simply Wool, I think. It has like Winkle and Wanda and Woodrow and all those. I feel like that would look great in this. That would be awesome. But I also feel like if you use a really squishy hand-dyed yarn, it could also be super cozy. This is knit with 8 to 10 inches of positive ease. It is knit with a worsted or Aran weight yarn. I don't think I have many more details to share at the moment, but I love it. It has been so much fun working on it. I am usually not a singular project person, and this, out of necessity, has become my singular project, but I've enjoyed every second of working on this and figuring it out. But yeah, now I'm in a big time crunch because I want to be able to release it like mid-September at the absolute latest, so that if people want to make it for Halloween, they have some time. So I have plans to finish it up. It will be done, pattern written, by the end of the weekend. I wanted to spend a couple minutes and talk about maybe some future project plans and ask for your help. I, a couple months ago, started the Over Owls Made by Haley Bailey, and it's the cutest pattern ever, but I got about like this much of the waistband done, which is what you start with, like half, maybe even not a full half of the waistband done. And then I got distracted and I moved on to other things, and I think I'm gonna frog it and put that project on pause for right now. I love it. I still want to make them. The pattern's great. I think the thing is that I got excited about it and I impulse bought yarn for it and then decided there's a cat trying to get in. I think the problem is that I kind of impulse bought my yarn for that project and then very quickly decided that I wished I had used other yarn, and so I kind of put it in timeout and was avoiding the problem and just kind of hoping it would fix itself. But I think I have come to the conclusion that I would like to frog it and get yarn for the over owls that I really want to use for them, because then I'll get a lot more joy out of that project. So that means I now have 8 skeins of Kobu in this beautiful blue color that I would like to use for something. I love the yarn, and there are several versions of the overalls in Kobu. I don't know, it's not what I wanted. I think there were two shades of blue at the store when I bought it, and I went with the darker one, and I think I got home and wished I had gone with the lighter one. So I don't know if I'll get the lighter color blue for my over owls, or I don't know, I might go with the original yarn that is suggested in the pattern, which is Lion Brand Touch of Linen, which I actually really love. Anyway, point is, I have 8 skeins of Kobu, and I don't know what to do with it. So let me know some good patterns. What can I do with it? I don't work with bamboo based yarns very often. This is like probably my only thing that I've made with anything with bamboo in it. So let me know what would be good, what would have, you know, really show off that drapiness of Kobu. Time to talk about what I've been reading, which is barely anything. Like I said, with my migraine, I was barely doing anything. I honestly was just sitting in a dark room, even thinking about reading, using my eyes to read or using my brain to listen to an audiobook was too much. The only thing I've made progress on is Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte, and I hilariously did the worst description of this book last time. This book is about finding a process so that you can store your information and then it's there when you need it. It makes a lot of sense because it's called Building a Second Brain, right? It's building a second brain in which you can store this information so that you can leave your brain to focus on whatever you want to at the time. If you Google Building a Second Brain, something that you will often find is mention of this database manager called Notion, and I use that for life and business management as well. I'll link it below if you want to check it out. I went on a big ramble about it last time. The book is not about Notion, but people have often connected the Building a Second Brain process to the use of Notion, and you can find a lot of information out there on it. And I feel like I'm going on a tangent again. I don't trust myself to talk about this book anymore. Moving on. A couple of channel and life updates. I posted a video on Tuesday going through my process for doing my short rows in my seashore skirt from the Little Wolf Knits. It's not a tutorial in any sense, but I basically just turned on my camera and let you watch me as I figured this out. I am sitting there thinking it through, talking it out with you as I figure this stuff out. And then at the end once the skirt's done, I show it off and I talk about some lessons that I learned and some tips and tricks that I might consider if you wanted to try it for yourself. So I hope that video helps some people out. I do also have 2 vlogs coming, both of them for tests that I have been working on, the Pillars Tank from Perfectly Knotted and the Boatside Hooded Tee from Lovely by Lee. I need to double check the release dates of those patterns because I want the vlogs to come out at a good time for the release. So I'm not sure exactly when those will be out, but probably pretty soon. I think the boat side hooded tee will be releasing in the next week or so. So that vlog will be coming. In terms of other videos, like I said, have a lot going on in my life in the next like 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm probably going to be trying to pre-film some things here and there to throw in just in case I can't make one of these sit down episodes happen at some point. If there's anything that you would like to see, let me know. I know I do have the closet videos coming, but I was also thinking about doing going through the knitting and crochet reference books that I have, maybe talking through my queue on Ravelry or some of my favorite projects, going through my handmade things, maybe going through my handmade things that I don't love and talking about what I might want to do with them. I have a drawer full of handmade items that I wouldn't say I regret making, but I regret most of them. It's because I was impatient and stubborn and just pushed through and decided, it'll be fine if I, you know, just don't match the gauge, or if I knit to only 5 inches instead of 7 like the pattern says, something like that. It's all on me, but still. I thought that it might be fun to talk through those and maybe talk about maybe taking some of them apart and fixing them, remaking them. So if there's anything you want to see, let me know. I'm happy to film it for you and share, as long as it is, you know, within reason. If it's something bigger, then I might not be able to pre-film it in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Might have to come later. But if it's a simple sit down and chat video, then let's do it. Let me know. Really nothing else to share today. There's not much happening in our lives. It has just been rainy for a long time in Connecticut. Our newest development today is that we noticed that we have ground bees, and I'm very upset about that because I hate bees. And they are burrowing into the ground like right outside our front door. Our dog has been going to the bathroom around the side of the house instead of in the front where she normally goes for the past maybe week-ish, and we've been like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then I think with the rain, one of their holes might have collapsed a bit, and so now the bees are more noticeable, and I hate it. I hate bees. I know they're necessary. I know pollination, I know all that stuff. I just hate bees, and I hate them being right outside my front door. So I'm just stressed about that. That's really all I got. That's the only big thing happening in my life today. I think that's it. I got nothing else to say. I hope you enjoyed Tuesday's video. I hope you enjoy this chat, even though I went off on some tangents and I said I wasn't going to talk a lot. And here I am 45 minutes later. I hope I'm going to cut some of that out. I don't think the video will be 45 minutes long. Keep an eye out for a tester call for the Allison cardigan, probably coming in a day or two, maybe. And yeah, that's all I got. That's all I've been working on. So with that being said, I will see you next time. Take care of you and have a good one. Bye. I grabbed the little lady that was trying to break in and say hi. This is Karu. She doesn't love being held, but she wanted to say hi. She's the softest little snuggle bug in the world. She's my baby girl.